Now, I know a lot of knuckle dragging Neanderthals are going to insult me on this video. They're going to say hateful things, and they're going to talk about how their invisible sky fairy is going to smite me down. Well, invisible sky fairy, where are you? Well, he didn't strike me down, so therefore he obviously doesn't exist. I tell you, these people are barbarians. They're so rude, they're condescending, they're insulting, and they don't offer any evidence for anything they say. But that's just the way they are. So, the guy who runs this channel, I think he briefly kind of realized what an ignorant man he is, and he let me do a video on my response to what he's been saying. So I think what people need to understand about Brussels and about Paris and about London and about 9/11 is there's something that's in common with all of these events. They were committed by people with ideologies and religions. Yes, ideologies and religions. That's the common factor of all these incidents. You see, what happens is when they were born, the parents and the society, the ignorant society, said this is a religious baby. Well, babies are not born religious. They're born believing in science, because science is just believing in things that are real. So whenever the baby suckles at his mother's breast, that means the baby is expressing a belief in science. Because it's like, if you look at animals in nature, they don't believe in God. They just kind of run around and they act based on their genes. This whole Christianity thing, these religions and ideologies, they only came about after we developed civilization and after we developed like scholarship and stuff like that. So I suppose you could say that religion and complex metaphysical beliefs are a product of civilization. So they can't be natural, because animals don't believe in them and babies don't believe in them. I asked a baby once, could you quote part of that, what's his name, Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica, and he couldn't. Instead, the baby started playing with blocks, which is part of the scientific method. So you have these babies who are born believing in science, but they're classified as being a member of a religion, or being religious, as if it was something like blue eyes, etc. Although, to be fair, that doesn't really matter either, because we're all members of one human race. There's people who say that race and ethnicity exists, but that's kind of like saying a baby's born with an ideology and a religion. It's saying that the baby's born and they're a member of a race or an ethnicity, but they aren't. They're a baby, and the baby's identity is science. Because what science tells me is race and ethnicity don't exist. They just don't, because science says that all people are equal. Because all babies are born without an ideology or a religion, therefore they're all equal. So what all these incidents have in common is these babies are born without an ideology or religion, and they're brought up in it. Because there was a man, and he said, I think it was the Dawkins. He said, what it takes for the only thing that can make good people do bad things is religion, and I think that's true, because there were the Crusades, and there were the homeschools in Canada, and there was some incidents in India where they smashed some idols, and they burned the Library of Alexandria, and these are like all things that ideologies and religions have done. And I know people are going to say, but what about communism? Well, communism is an ideology in religion. And besides that, it wasn't really tried properly. Because real communism should be based on science. But they had to make it like an ideology in religion to appease the knuckle-dragging masses. They had to make it like that. And that's why it didn't work. So someday we're going to have a globalized world. Everyone's going to be blended together. We're going to get rid of all this unscientific belief in inherent genetic traits. And everyone's going to believe in science. And then we can try communism, and then it'll work. The problem wasn't really the communism. It was that people weren't fit for communism. So we have to change people. And that's what religion does. It changes people. Because you have these babies who are born, and then they get raised in an ideology and a religion, and that makes them do bad things. Because if you believe in an afterlife, if you believe in that you'll be rewarded for things that you do, then it makes you not value this life. And I get this a lot, because I tell my neighbors, I say, why are you having children? The earth is overpopulated. Humanity is a scourge on this planet. Why are you reproducing? And they'll say, well, because God said go forth and multiply. And this is what I'm talking about. It's making these people do bad things, like have children. If these people are having children, you're killing Mother Earth. You see, we all live on the earth. That's science. We don't live in Sky World like their invisible Sky Daddy does. So that's an example there. Religion tells people to have kids. Religion traps people in this outdated, barbaric institution called marriage. And those are just a couple of examples of the horrible things religion does. And these things go against science. So what happened with the Brussels people is they were born into a religion or an ideology. And that religion or ideology taught them things that went against science. And we have all these people of a different religion and ideology. Well, that's not fair. People who think they have a different religion or ideology, because all religions are equally untrue and are equally immoral. Because some religions or ideologies might tell you to stone women, but other religions or ideologies don't want women to abort the parasites that are growing within their womb. And like I said, these things, it's a toss-up. They all kind of advocate these immoral things that go against science. Science tells me that the parasite in the womb is not a human being. That is a fact. Richard Dawkins told me that. And it's a fact because he's a scientist. He's not that leader of that religion or ideology who wears the big hat. And I think Richard Dawkins knows a little bit more about science than whatever his name is. So because these people had a religion or ideology, they thought that other people were different than themselves. The truth is, there is no difference between different people. Science tells us this. Look at genetic research. It tells us that we're all fundamentally the same and there's no differences between us. So, because of their religion or ideology, they got this idea that they were different from everybody else and that they were special because they believed that God was speaking to them. I mean, Mother Teresa thought that God was speaking to her. And she went to India, and she claims it was to help humanity, but she did it because God told her to. And because of her ideology or religion, everything she did is just a sign of her own vanity. If she had have done it for scientific reasons, it would have been okay. But much like, not that she had been singled out for something special from her sky buddy. And so she went and she did something because of it. And it's just the same thing as the Brussels bombers. And you see these people who try to do charitable, and I'm putting there's no, I have so many quotation marks I'm putting around that, charitable works, and say it's because of their ideology or religion, and it's just a scam. If they did it out of science, that would have been okay. But they did it out of ideology or religion, one of the two. So because of that, they planted the bombs and they blew it up and they killed these people. And killing innocent people is bad. Because look at nature. Animals don't kill each other that way. Animals don't kill each other for no reason. War is not something animals engage in. Cruelty is not something animals engage in. Only humans engage in that, and they only engage in that because of religions and ideologies. Because the babies are born believing in science, but then they're told that they're members of a ideology or religion, and that makes them do bad things, and then they grow up and they blow up stuff. So I think what we need to do is we need to move beyond ideologies and religions, and we need to start acting in the best interest of science. We need to stop destroying the earth. We have to stop killing each other, and we have to stop with ideas like nations and religions and ideologies, and we just have to accept certain things. We have to accept transsexualism is a good thing. It's scientific. You can see it all the time in nature. We have to accept that having children is bad for the environment. You don't see that in nature through science. Self-perpetuism is not something you see in nature. It just isn't. Culture is another word for oppression. It's a code word for ideology or religion. The nation is an ideology or religion. It's not science. We need to just move beyond these things. And we have these knuckle draggers who don't want genetic engineering, who don't want humanity to get better, who raise ethical concerns. The concept of an ethical concern around something that would make your life better is just an example of how evil these people are. They'll say, oh, we shouldn't remove the parasite from the womb and use the material of the parasite to cure diseases. And they say this because of their ideology or religion, and that's proof, confirmed, that ideology and religion makes people do bad things. So I think what we have to understand here is that ideology and religion caused Brussels, caused 9/11, caused the sack of Constantinople, caused the invasion of Spain, caused the burning of the Library of Alexandria, caused the slaughter of the other ideologies and religions on the Arabian Peninsula, caused the invasion of India, caused the Bali bomb, caused women to not be allowed to go to school, caused women to not be allowed to drive, caused women to have acid thrown on their faces, caused the bombing of the U.S. embassies in Africa, caused the murder of people, the genocide of people of other ideologies and religions in Iraq and Syria. And all these things have a single unifying concept, which is ideology and religion. So once we get rid of them, once we go to science, all these problems will be sorted out. And we'll finally be able to have the flourishing of conscious beings that we all agree is a good thing. So I can't wait to see what you knuckle-dragging Neanderthals say in contrast to my science, but I digress. I have some better things to do. I'm going to go drink some Jones soda. Talk to you guys later, or not.